Hey guys, this is SolidWorks Crew. Welcome to the final day of our 7-day SolidWorks tutorial series. Today, we are diving into an essential part of your preparation for the CSWA exam. Over the past week, we covered all the foundational skills and techniques you need to tackle the CSWA with confidence. We've explored everything from basic sketching and feature creation to more advanced assembly and drawing techniques. Now, it's time to put all the knowledge into practice. In today's session, I will go through a step-by-step walkthrough of the practice exam questions, and I will also provide tips and tricks for efficiently solving each problem. Before we get started, make sure you have your SolidWorks software ready, and if you're following along, have your practice exam materials handy. Ready to test your skills? Let's jump right in. Alright, so today we're gonna have a look at the two sample exam. The first one is the part creation process, and the second example will be the assembly process. So once you go into the video's description, and then there is a link to download the PDF and also some parts inside the zip file. So those parts are going to be used for the assembly, test process. So if you scroll down, and then those are the contents for this practice exam, and then you can just go through more and more, and then there's some exam details, and then those are the features that I'll cover from the previous video. So while you're just testing for the sample exam, if there's any part that you're not familiar, you can just go back to my previous videos. Those are gonna be covered pretty much almost everything. Okay, and then you can scroll down a little bit more, and then before you take the exam, and then you have to make sure just taking the real exam kind of protocol, you have to download it. So go to this website and then just install this Tester Pro client, and then just follow along this process, and then you have to just sign up if you don't have a account, and then make sure just sign in afterwards, and then you'll be able to see there's a CSWA sample exam. So this exam will be suitable for you to just take the exam after watching this video, and then follow along my exercises. And then you can actually select the account kind of language type, or a lot of things you can just do pretty quickly, and then that's gonna actually let you jumping into the test. So those are basically some of the basic understanding of some what kind of actually just section view, or just what kind of actually just method it is. But the first one is just basically it's pretty much called crop view. So it's just basically creating a spline at certain area, and then we can only just see kind of same scale of certain area. That is called crop view. Okay, but if you're having a look at this, the bottom A and B view, so as you can see, those having some kind of section view, but it's just kind of break out some area by the spline area. So if you scroll down, what option we have, so align section view is just more of based on the line, and also the section view is basically based on the plane. However, the broken section view is just used specifically break some certain area based on those spline. That is called the broken section view. And the detailed view is just it's just basically magnifying, or just kind of zoom in, so you could see a little bit smaller scale of those parts more in detail. That is the detailed view. Okay. All right. So this is going to be the first exercise we're gonna go through together, but before you start jumping into it, I just want you to be a little bit careful that there is a A and B dimension doesn't really have a number, but if you scroll down, and then there's some value for it. So basically there's a A dimension is 81, and the B dimension is 57, and then C is 43. Okay, so if you scroll back up, and then there is some A and then B, and then for some reason I don't see where C variable is, but you can just ignore those C, since actually we're only gonna be applying just A and B. So you can just apply this A and B based on those first question for now. So 81 and then 57 for the A and B, and then so you can just use those variables for now, and then it's gonna be keep changing for the next question. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause this video for some seconds, so you can just also stop this video and then just keep having a look at your cell phone, or just another screen, and then just keep trying to design based on those dimensions. So let's just dive into it. Alright, so for this time, I hope you guys actually just create this part properly, and then you can just skip to the next question. But for someone actually who hasn't figured out perfectly how to just work around to creating this part, I'm just gonna show you how to do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new part. So go to the new and then go to part, and then make sure just update to the millimeter, since we're gonna use a millimeter for any kind of SolidWorks exam. And then the plane I'm gonna use is just basically a front plane, because if you think about the model, this is just extruding from the front to the back. I think that would be actually more ideal. And then what I'm gonna do first is just I'm gonna create a circle and then create a circle over here, and then just create it, assign the smart dimension, and then apply 14 millimeter. And then from this point, I'm gonna skip some going back and forth. I want you to actually just practice utilizing some shortcut. So for me, the smart dimension is just assigned to my keyboard D button, okay? And then the circle is assigned for C, and then L is assigned for L. So I'm only apply those three by shortcut keyboard button. That's gonna saving ton of time, but instead of just moving back and forth. Let me show you actually what I'm doing. Okay, so since I already assigned the 14 millimeter for this circle, and then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna assign some create some lines basically to make it similar. So I'm gonna create this line and then create this line, create a line over here, here, and then create another line over here. And then if you want to create an arc, so you can just go a little bit more to the right, or just come back to the center point, the point, and then it's gonna actually just converting to the tangent, but also at the same time arc shape instead of line. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit up, and then I'm gonna actually just create another line over here, and then go to here, dropping down a little bit. That's good. And then I'm gonna create another line here, create line, and then another arc. So come back to this point, but this is actually just directing to the arc that I don't want. So I just want to actually just flip it. So the way you can do is come back to the point, and then you can see those is just switching. Okay, that's the way you can just basically flip it, but those are not going to be tangent to this line. So what I'm going to do is come back to one more time. Come back to one more time. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't really work well, so you have to be patient with it. Okay, it seems much better, but it's still actually just automatically tangent. So the way I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just go back here, and then I'm gonna create a line one more time, but I'm gonna come back to the point and then create a tangent arc. And then what I'm gonna do is just, instead of going back and forth, I'm gonna do a tangent arc. Okay, I'm gonna apply tangent here. Okay, so this almost seems like an arc, but it should be the tangent kind of arc to this, only actually just this arc, but not tangent to this bottom line. Okay, so we know actually A dimension is basically 81, so we're gonna apply the 81 first, since that's gonna be the outside to outside dimension. That is always good to apply first. Okay, I'm gonna apply 81, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do another outside to outside, so tip to tip dimension, which is a B, which is 47 millimeter. Okay, and actually sometimes actually the shape is going a little bit up, but it's okay, we can just adjust it afterwards. So I'm gonna start from the left to the right, and then what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna apply this dimension to the top to bottom dimension is 32 millimeter, and then I know actually this origin point of the circle to the bottom point should be 14 millimeter. That's good. And then we can just move a little bit more to the left, so we can just see a little bit better. And then I know actually this point to this bottom line should be 7 millimeter. And then my advice is just I try to make it a similar dimension location, so we can right away notice how those dimension has been missing. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply this line to this line, so make sure we can just apply 45 degree of angle. And then the other thing that we miss is on the top side, so we have to make sure apply this angle to this angle should be 45 degree. And then the next part is this point to the this top line to this point should be the 7 millimeter. Okay, so and then from the left line to this point should be 14 millimeter. Okay, that's good, but still just moving back and forth. And the other thing I want to mention is from here, the left line to the center point also should be 14 millimeter. So this top point and this center point should be in the vertical line straight. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna apply this in angle by 10 degree. Okay, and then if you're having a look at this is already assigned the tangent relation, so those are perfect, but we have to apply this arc dimension by 19 millimeter radius. Okay, and the next part is we're gonna apply this this endpoint of the left side to this, the rightward should be 29 millimeter. That's good. And then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna apply another 45 degree on the right side. It's already been actually assigned the 45 degree from the relation, so this is gonna be like just redundant. But if you're a little bit uncomfortable actually not seeing this dimension, you can just delete the vertical kind of relation and then you can apply 45 degree instead. So you can actually just like make it look like as close as possible. And then the top line to this point should be 5 millimeter. That's good. And then the second bottom line to the top line should be 24. And then of course it would be better to just put the B dimension afterwards, after 24. And then let's just move down. So this point to the bottom line should be 90 millimeter. So you can just assign this. And then from this, okay, so the right line to this second point should be 29 millimeter. Okay, and then we're gonna assign this arc dimension by 29 radius millimeter. And if you're a little bit detail oriented, I think you might notice this point is coincident to this line, so you can just like grab these two point and then just like assign the coincident. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna apply the 19 millimeter dimension from the middle line to the bottom line, which is the 19 millimeter, and then we're gonna assign this arc by radius of 5 millimeter. So then you might notice actually everything is turning black. So if you exit the sketch, and then you might notice actually there's no minus mark. It's perfect right now. Okay. However, actually the C dimension is basically the width of it. So what we can do basically is we can extrude from this point. Okay. So the way we can create a extrude is you can just click the extrude button and then just grab this sketch, and then that's gonna actually just ask us to just like, you know, show the preview of it. However, I just want to actually just create only one feature instead of actually just like, so the C dimension was basically 43, but if I only just go through 43 and then didn't actually unselect those, you know, kind of circular area, what that's gonna happen is it's gonna create like, you know, kind of non-extrude cut like kind of area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and then edit feature, and then I'm gonna actually just like right click the control selected control area, clear selection, and then that's gonna be automatically, you know, selecting the right area that we want. Okay, and then just click OK. It's perfect. However, it's not the end. This is one of the most common mistakes beginners all the time make, is just not applying the proper material. As you can see, there's no material assigned, so you have to make sure right click, edit material, and then apply AISI 1020 steel material. So there's a steel, and then you can just find out this AISI 1020. So this is the material, or even actually you can search AISI 1020, and then it's gonna be actually just like searchable. Okay, you can apply, close. And then the way you can just like get the mesh is you have to go to the evaluate tab, and there is a mesh property. And as you can see, those are set as grams since we already set as millimeters, so that is just automatically converting. But if you're still not seeing those as gram, and then there's an option button, and then if you click it, and then you'll be able to actually just update to the grams, or just like if you want customize, and then you can just like make sure change kilogram or just milligrams, but for now we're going to use grams by default, so we can just set back as use document settings. Okay, and then we got the value of 939.5396. So let's just go back to the PDF file, And then we already assigned the ABC properly, and then we assign the material, and then this is the density of it. And then so density is just make sure actually you check the right material. So that's also going to contain the density. So by selecting the correct material, that's going to just already reflect the density. Okay. Yeah, and then let's just have a look at it, and then what's the value of it. So if you don't find an option within 1% of your answer, please recheck your solid model. Let's just check 939.54. That seems like very close. So 939.54, so which is actually what we're exactly looking for. So we can come back here and then just select the answer for the rep, the answer D, and then save your part in a different file after each question in case it must be reviewed. So let's just follow along this process. So I'm gonna save it to my personal location, so make sure not losing anything. So I'm gonna go to the desktop, PPT, and then I'm gonna actually just assign part 1. Okay, so yeah, so I think this is the pretty much enough information for the part 1. But if you scroll down, and then that's gonna be pretty much common process for not only CSWA but also something about the CSWE. Those are gonna be to do the exact same step. So what they're asking us for the next question is just once you create the kind of template file, and then that's just gonna ask us to just change the value to 84, and then 59, and then 45. So let's just go back one more time. So sometimes it's good to assign the what's A and then what's B and then what's C. So the way you can do is by using an equation. I mean, this is just a little bit more advanced, but it's gonna be actually just like definitely beneficial. So if you go to the so there's a good way you can right away notice this is A or B or C. So if you double click it, and then there will be a dimension button that's going to be opening up. So from here, what you can do is you can also just like, instead of actually just like using these three, so this value was basically B, and then the width should be the A. So we can come back here, so we can apply the B dimension for now. And the other way you can do is just you can press you can go to the dimension text, and then you can just like assign B, and then as you can see there's a dimension, but also B is already assigned, right? So this is also the same step actually. I mean, the reason actually we are just changed from D2 to like A and B is just because actually when it comes to just calling out, it could be also just like referred to the A and B as a correct one, but there's not a lot of actual meaning behind it. But it's just kind of one, my habit that I keep doing. So this is A and B, and then let's also just do assign for those dimension as well. The 43, so let's just double click it, and then we can just assign C as well. Okay, that's good. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the sketch, and then let's just find out what's the next question. So A should be 84, and then B should be 59, and then C should be 45. Okay. So what we're going to do is let's just find out the A first. So A should be 84. So I'm just going to change to 84. And then what I'm going to do is B should be 59. So just increase by 2 millimeter. And then 43 to 45. So 2 millimeter increase in width. But if you're having a look at it, this is just like showing some kind of, almost like a kind of traffic light error. This kind of signal is just like kind of popping up. So what that means is just it requires rebuild in order to just show the changes or show the updates. So it seems like pretty much similar to this one. So what it's saying is just it requires rebuild. Okay, so there's a way. So you can just press Ctrl B is the shortcut button, but you can just press Ctrl B, and then as you notice, actually it has been updated. Okay, and then you can just go back to evaluate and then mesh property, and then just like see the mesh, which is the 1032, and then let's just go back to the PDF file, and then let's just find out 1032 from the secondary exam. So for this case, actually it doesn't give any kind of option to select. It's not multiple choice. It's just like asking us to just assign the overall mesh. So you can just basically copy those until the 2 decimal or just 3 decimal. It's just gonna be definitely just give us some what decimal point actually we have to just like provide it. It's gonna be all showing in the test exam, so we can just apply kind of rounding up or just rounding down just based on the description. Okay, so the next example is going to be pretty much similar, but just adding some more additional just like extrude cut. So you can just have a look at it from the PDF and then just keep going more practice example. And then the last part will be assembly modeling. So if you already download this PDF with some parts, you might already notice actually there's already parts included in the zip file. So what we can do is we can have a look at this description. Okay. All right, so if you're having a look at this image, and then what you have to be careful is what's going to be the center point. So there is an origin of this assembly, which is over here. So there's an X direction to this right direction, and Z direction to the left direction, Y direction towards the top direction. Okay, so you can actually just take some time and then you can scroll down, and then there's some more degrees for the A, B, C. So I just want you to just like trying that out by having a look at the PDF and also have a look at this assembly view, and then just take some time and then post some video, and then I will actually show how I tackle this. Okay, all right, so let's just jumping into it. So for our case, I'm gonna actually just close this part for now. I'm just gonna click save all, and then I'm gonna create a new assembly, and then open up the new assembly. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to and then just grab 3 parts altogether, and then yeah, so it might actually show this kind of like for the worst materials only, SolidWorks colors texture only, both. It's fine to just like for the worst material only, and then don't show again. I'm just gonna click okay, open clipboard. Yeah, sometimes actually it causes this error, but it's just ignorable. So you can just place those 3 items actually anywhere you want, but the first thing always whenever you start from scratch, make sure to change to millimeter. Okay, and I think if you already watched the previous video, you may notice there's a fixed state for the first part, so it's not moving at all, whereas actually those other 2 parts are moving so easily. I want you to right click, and then I want you to float, so it could be also moving. Okay, so just don't be panicked actually, even actually those are kind of movable or just not movable at all. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find out the origin point. So we're gonna actually just go grab 3 planar or just planes, and then the intersecting point is just the origin. But the first way you can just do is you can just go to visibility, and then there is a origin point, and then it's going to show the origin point over here, and then which is the X, and then which is the Y, and then which is the Z direction is going to show this on the left bottom view. Okay, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to place this the top of this beam area mating to this top plane of the assembly. So the way you can just mating is if you can go to the mate, but what I don't recommend you for this kind of case is I just want to keep playing with this feature tree. So you can just like basically click and then press Control and then click another top view. So you basically grab 2 face and then plane all together. And then if you unpress Control, and then there will be a shortcut box kind of opening up for the kind of shortcut mating. So I'm gonna apply the coincident. That's how comfortable it is. And then the next part we're gonna do is this is the X direction, and then this is the Z direction, and which is correct. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply this this wrong pin part of the right plane mating to the right plane of this assembly. Okay, so and only one direction of freedom is remain, which is the front plane of this part to the front plane of this assembly. And then as you can see, there's no minus mark for this part. What that means is which is fully defined, fully mated part. So this is not going to be movable or rotatable. This is perfect. And the second point we're going to do is we're going to go to this part, which is a chain link. And then let's just like rotate with the right clicking over here, and then just make sure you just click the right point. And then you can just grab this inside the circular cylinder area, and then press Control, grab this part, unsuppress, or just like unpress this control button, and then that's gonna creating another shortcut mating, assign the concentric. Okay, one more time, press this top, control, grab this, kind of top face, unpress, yeah, coincident relation, okay? But which is still movable. So what you can do is you can find out the right plane or just front plane, and then find out the, front plane of this, wrong pin, and then assign this coincident relation, okay? And then the second part that we're gonna do is you're gonna right click and then rotate it, and then I'm gonna grab this cylinder area, and then grab this one, and press Control, assign this. And this is good to use the advanced mating, which is the width mating. So you can just go to the mate, and then go to advanced width. You can grab these two faces of this part, one part first, and then grab other faces, two faces, and it's gonna be just automatically kind of width mating together. So it's gonna be at the center point to the center point of the other part. Okay, it's perfect. Let's just get out. But from this point, actually, what we need is we have to just like duplicate this part, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just control and then just grab and then drag in and then drop out, and then that's gonna copy for you. And as you can see, there's a new chain link has been created. But this is just a little bit more advanced technique, to be honest. But I just want you to utilizing it. Right now, actually, this one is not fully defined just because actually this is rotatable. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the mating history, and then there is a concentric, which is the mating to this, link to the short pin. So what I want you to do is just click it, left button, and then just go to edit features. And then there is a rock rotation. You can rock rotation to fully define. That's perfect. So as you can see, no minus mark. But from here, what you can do is you can just grab this chain link, and then press Control, and then click the short pin. You want to copy all together basically. So you can press Control and then drag in and drop, and then that's going to copy all together. But there's some mating already predefined, because all those kind of mating for those two parts are also just copy all together. So the only thing what you have to do is you're going to right click and then just rotate, and then you're going to grab this cylinder area and then just grab the other cylinder area and then just apply the concentric. And then what we can do is for this time, instead of going into the mate, in order to apply the width mating, I'm gonna press control, click it, and then you can actually just like unpress, just click control. But when it comes to just like grabbing another part, you can press control one more time. Grab 3 face, come back, press control one more time, grab this face, and then unpress control. That's gonna actually show the width mating because we already satisfy the options of the selection. So you can click width mating, and then that's gonna do for you. So you just have to follow along the steps that you do from the mating by using control, and then just click multiple faces, okay? And then now it's time for us to assign the A angle, so which is the 25 degree. So this is also again same. Actually, we can also go to the mate. I will show you the a little bit actually slower way just for your interpretation. But from the second point, I'm gonna show you the shortcut way. Okay. So I'm gonna actually just grab this face to this face, and then I'm gonna go to here and then assign 25 degree. But it seems like actually there's a 153 degree angle. So what we should do is assign the 180 degree minus 25 degree. Okay, that is perfect. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna just copy and paste one more time. So I'm gonna grab those two and then just drag it and drop, and then it's gonna show one more time the the same part, and then grab this face and then press control to just grab the second face, and then unpress this control button and then just assign the concentric. I will do a little bit faster for this time since actually you already repeated it like main steps. I'm gonna grab this face, and then I'm gonna grab the top face and then apply the width mating, and then we should apply the B angle dimension, which is the 125 degree from here to here. So you already press the control to grab two faces and then unpress this control button, and then that's gonna show the the coincident, parallel, and the perpendicular. But there's also an angle relation too. So what you can do is you can assign the B dimension, which is the 125 degree. Okay, that's perfect. How easy it is. And then the last part will be these two copy parts one more time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate a little bit, and then I'm going to grab this face, and then I'm going to grab this cylinder, and then one more time the width mating, and then you can just like drag a little bit more to the left, so we can just grab those 4 faces comfortably. I'm gonna grab this face, and then grab this face, and then 4 faces certified, and then you can apply the width mating. But the last part is we have to make sure to apply the C degree, which is the 130 degree. I'm gonna grab this face and then grab this face and then just assign, sorry, actually we have to apply the angle 130 degree. However, this is not the end. This is incorrect, to be honest, because we are not supposed to use short pin. So you have to just delete it. You can just grab this one, delete, okay? Or what you can do is you can find out if you highlight any of the face or any of the kind of face area, that's gonna just highlight in the component tree. So what you can do is you can grab, press delete. Or the other way is you can right click and then delete. There's a lot of ways, but whichever you prefer, you can do it. But the last part is we have to just include a long pin at the end. So you can just press Control, grab this, drag in, and drop out. And then grab those cylinder area and then cylinder area, and then just apply the concentric. However, before we jumping into just coincident, I want you to go to this part kind of in a feature tree, and there is a mate for this specific part. So you can just expand it, and then you already actually notice we already assigned the concentric. This is just tied to this part. So that's the way you can actually find out what's the mating actually that assigned for that specific part, which is the concentric. So you can just add a feature, and then you have the rock rotation. That's perfect. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this face, and then I'm gonna grab this face, and then apply the coincident relation. All right, so that is pretty much it. And then if you right click and then collapse items to only show the part level, and then everything is just without the minus mark, that is exactly what we want to see. Okay. And then the way you can just like get the the center of mass is you have to go to the evaluate one more time. If you're not able to see any evaluate tab, just make sure right click, and then there's a tabs, and then there's a evaluate. Okay. And then evaluate it, and then go to mass property, and then you'll be able to see, make sure everything is just gram, everything is just cubic millimeters, everything is just based on the metric. Okay. And then this is the center of mass, which is millimeters, what exactly we are looking for. So we have to find that the x is 348.66, and then y is minus 88.48, z equal to minus 91.40. So we can just go back to this answer. So you'll be able to see the x is basically the answer that we are looking for. Okay, so the A kind of multiple choice is the answer that we're going to looking for. All right, so I just want you to have a look at further pages, and then that's going to ask us to again changing the degrees one more time. So what we can do is we can just close it, and then there's some angle from here to here. So the way you can find out actually this angle relation is you can simply go back through, and then there's an angle relation. But the other way you can do is, I told you one more time, so you can go back here, and then there's a relation that assigns. So you can just like click this mating, and then that's gonna highlight for us. So those two faces has a 155 degree angle relation. So you can change this dimension, and then you can change the other dimension, and then you can double check one more time for the the mass property, and then just go to XYZ, and then whether or not actually those are matching, and then you can double check one more time. So that's the way you can just go through the next question. But the most important thing is you have to make sure just get it right for the first question, so you can actually just get everything else right for the next question, because there's a lot of cases, a lot of questions are tied to the first question. Okay. So that's the end of our tutorial video. So I want you to keep practicing, and then just get some confidence, and then get familiar with this kind of test process. And I hope you guys actually learn a lot from this video. And then if this video was helpful, and then like this video, and then subscribe for the future more advanced series. So my biggest purpose of this channel is I'm being honest that it took me almost like 4 or 5 years for me to get really familiar with SolidWorks, and then from this point, and then I start realizing, why did I take so long to get used to it? Always requires practice. But if somebody was kind of like teaching me a good tips and tricks, and also just keep pushing me to just like practicing and utilizing it, and then it would take like way less than 2 years for me to almost master. There's no such thing as master, but I mean being master in specific area. For example, if you're working on the sheet metal industry, at least within 2 years you'll be able to actually know almost everything about the sheet metal. So that's who I'm trying to be. And also I'm not actually mastering all the fields. I'm more actually advanced in the sheet metal process, but I'll try to share all my knowledge for all those task skills and then all those industry skills and all those tips, so you can actually just not wasting any of the time. So yeah, I hope you guys actually keep sticking to our future videos. So, and also just like really feel free to just comment anything that you really want to know and you're confused with. I will answer as fast and as much as possible for you, so we can actually just keep communicating and then just keep running all together, right? Alright, so thanks for watching this video, and then I will see you from the next video. Bye.